Well, hello everyone. Welcome to the Tom Colohue channels. You are currently watching on either YouTube or on Twitch. And my God, has it been a crazy few days. After all, just this week, we have had so many pieces of news confirmed that you will have heard first right here on the Tom Colohue channels. The news about Mustafa Ali having his release request turned down. The news about Asuka returning shortly. The news about the whole goddess character not quite being what they're going for, despite them now trademarking it as Alexa Bliss herself, disproving and proving that one for our reports of a mixed sort of character. And now, the biggest one yet. As of Friday, I said quite openly, there is a push in the WWE to bring back Ronda Rousey. It is Ronda Rousey herself who doesn't 100% seem interested in it. However, they are doing regular checkups and she has been seen at Titan Towers. That's what I said. A few days later, what happens? Here we are on Fightful Select. A report about Ronda Rousey potentially being in the Royal Rumble because the WWE are pushing to do it. Naturally, this reminds me of a hell of a lot of previous reports. The Sonya Deville report that appeared on Fightful Select after I'd reported it. The CM Punk report that appeared on Fightful Select after I reported it. You want to get in first? Before we hit the paywalls? Here is the place to do it. And I'm going to start by saying hello to everyone who is joining us on both Twitch and YouTube. We have Omega and Moxie shouting my name. And over on YouTube, we had a few people dropping in early, even before we changed the name of the video, because it was going to be all about the Royal Rumble, potentially not having enough women yet. So we have Steve from the SCW Wrestling channel saying the title of this video is crazy when the Rumble is a few days away. Recommend they watch my fantasy booking video for a few ideas on how to fill the 30 numbers. Steve, as we know, is a very good YouTuber and I do recommend checking him out. Manny Santos says there's 9 spots left for... Oh, with Cameron and Melina likely to be in. This is as per the Peter Insider report that I've spoken about previously. So 7 spots. Asuka, Lacey, that's 5. Then Raquel, Io, Mandy, Dakota, and Ivy, that fills 30. It does indeed. NXT are going to be called upon heavily for this Royal Rumble. The WWE keep trying to bring people in and people keep saying no. David Leary says hello everyone. Kervin Abro says yo Abro, let me know if I'm getting that wrong. Wolf Gamer says hello all. Captain Buzzy as well saying hello everyone. Sean says hello Tom. Pardon me. Freaking Colohue. There should always be a freaking after my name. I respect that. We also have that from David Leary. Rob says hello everybody. James Stewart is asking, will we see Cena this WrestleMania season? WrestleMania season, maybe. Royal Rumble season, I'm confident no. And Rob says quite succinctly, hey Tom, time to saddle up. This one is gonna be juicy. It is indeed. But the thing is, right, and you guys know I don't like just sitting here saying, oh, I did this and I did this. But every now and then, I have to. Because not that many people are paying attention to what I report. But if you're one of the people who are paying attention to what I report, you knew the big Ronda Rousey news before it came out on Fightful. You knew the big Ali news before it came out elsewhere. You know the big news if you're tracking it here because Tom's got your back. And you've done it without any hyperbole and the like. So, before we jump into more talk about this, please remember, every thumbs up on that YouTube video potentially means one more subscriber, and that takes us 1 subscriber closer to monetization. I'm still chasing those numbers. If you haven't subscribed yet, please consider doing so as well. And if you're watching on Twitch, please consider hitting that follow button. It will mean you get the news first, and I'm sure we can all agree that's what we're looking for. Moxie says, I think Austin Theory could win the Rumble because we expect him to lose. Expect the unexpected. Well, the only thing I'll say about that is here comes the money. And can I just say one of the best things about having a Discord is that I've been shown in the Discord people basically taking my tweets and using them for their own engagement a day later, and I didn't know because I had them blocked. Yeah, I'm gonna keep an eye on you now. Somebody's clearly watching my tweets and farming them for engagement. Well, God bless you. Aren't you so proud of yourself for that one? Bless you. Bless. Robs is here. Welcome, Robs. Sorry, guys. I'm a little hyper from the beginning of this one. I'm a little bit hyper. Sean says, did we all see that Cassie and Jessie, as in the Inspiration, formerly the Iconics, were asked to be a part of the Women's Rumble? Impact approved of it, but both ladies declined. Impact essentially will approve of any request that the WWE make for use of their talent. It gives them an opportunity, essentially, to further promote their own product. They need it a lot more than WWE do, let's be honest. Apologies. Ultra says, Tom, do you remember me? It's been a long time. It has, mate. Welcome back to the show. It's been a little while, but you're always welcome. Sean says, if Ronda is in the Rumble, she's going to win. Probably yes. If Ronda Rousey is in the Royal Rumble, I'd be very surprised if she doesn't walk away with the opportunity against Becky Lynch at WrestleMania. Bianca might not be the favourite after all. And after my initial report from Friday has now hit the heights because of Fightful, I'm confident we're going to see a huge swing towards betting on Ronda Rousey in the next few days. Omega says, what's new, Colohue? Whoa, 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 whoa. Good stuff. Coming this Friday, I actually did the math on this. I'm going to be really blunt with you guys. Coming this Friday, as many of you know, I've gone through a rough 2021. Thanks to you guys keeping me afloat on Twitch, I was able to keep my home until I got a job. On Friday, I get a $6,800 raise. I did the math. It is a $6,800 raise. Tom's a happy boy. So things are really good. Boss Pedal, thank you, says, and hit that notification bell on YouTube to be reminded when Tom goes live. Someone's watching other YouTube videos as well. BFG Podcast says, hello, Tom. Hello, BFG. Great to see you. Kevin says, surprised WWE forgot to call Rosa Mendez. Maybe they did. Maybe they ran Gail Kim. Who knows? Who knows who else may have turned them down? JJ, welcome, says, hey, Tom. Hey, JJ. How you doing, mate? Spider-Boss says, hello, Tom. What happened with Ronda? Now, regular viewers here on these channels will be fully aware that I've said several times, but most recently on Friday's show, that the WWE were pushing to get Ronda Rousey in the Royal Rumble, but it wasn't necessarily that Ronda Rousey herself, was keen on the prospect. She was still speaking about them, but she has been training well and training hard. She has had several meetings at Titan Towers over the years. The WWE have kept in touch, the idea being that eventually they'll be able to say, we're ready, you're ready, come on back in. We'll do those extra 2 years that you never did that were apparently a part of your contract. Now, to be blunt, guys, I've had the inside track on Ronda Rousey's contract for a while now, and I've been shouted down a lot in the time that I've been doing that. Many years ago, I believe it was June, so three months after she debuted at WrestleMania, I reported that Ronda Rousey would only be wrestling in the WWE for 12 months. At the time, certain prominent wrestling journalists decided to do everything possible to shout me down. They called me a liar. They called me a fraud. Ronda Rousey wrestled in the WWE for 12 months. WrestleMania to WrestleMania. Now, more than a week ago, I first mentioned Ronda Rousey's potential return, WWE pushing for it. Suddenly today, there's a report, after I mentioned it on Friday, that we were going to potentially see Ronda Rousey in the Rumble. Now, it depends whether the WWE get their way here. But how many times have we seen certain sites report exactly what I have reported, but behind a paywall? Anyway, I'll continue. That's what's going on with Ronda Rousey. Sorry for getting a bit obsessive about this, but it's vindication. It really is. And I think it goes to show that I at least believe you guys are getting a quality product from me. It's reassuring to have things confirmed by the big names that everyone will actually report on. But I guarantee you, all of the reports are not mentioning little old Tom Colohue. HCK Wrestling says, hello everyone. Hello HCK. I like it. So you like the Heart Crank Kid? David Leary says, any chance of Meiko Satomura in the Rumble? Yes, there are a number of people in NXT UK who are under consideration. However, because of travel restrictions, it seems unlikely at the moment. Still a possibility. Rob says, Ronda doesn't have to win. Charlotte can cost us a win. Bayley can win, and we can have our top 2 headline women's matches, or vice versa. Robs, that's a great idea. I like everything you've said there. Please let me know where I can subscribe to your newsletter. The user says, hi mate. Hello, the user. How you doing? Wolf Gamer Welcome says, how is everyone? I'm well, despite testing positive for COVID, and that was on Friday. Well, you've had a few days, mate. I hope you're feeling well, because I know it's if it's Omicron, it's worst at the beginning. So I'm glad you're okay and feeling good. If you need anything, please do let us know. HCK says, I'm thinking of Chris Jericho in the Rumble. Not an impossibility, I don't think. Something we have spoken about a few times. When it comes to the possibility of Ronda Rousey, by the way, I did mention a few weeks back that Mickie James was not the biggest surprise that the WWE had for the Royal Rumble. We knew at least they believed they had something bigger. Moxie says, Tom, I think WWE wanted to do title versus title, Roman versus Brock at Mania. Now I think if Brock retains, Roman's going to lose and win the Rumble. But if Roman retains, Brock's going to lose and win the Rumble. I don't believe there was any interest in doing title versus title. I don't believe that was ever on the cards. But it may become on the cards as time goes on. Rob says, congratulations, young man, and cheers. Cheers to you too. Cherry Coke indeed. Spider Boss says, is Ronda coming back at the Rumble? Maybe. I cannot confirm. I can only say that that's what the WWE are trying to make happen. At the moment, I cannot confirm it, neither can anyone else. But the news has come out via Fightful, basically reiterating my report from Friday. 4 days ago. Subscribe if you haven't, guys. Subscribe if you haven't. Otherwise, you're missing out on some pretty primo news. Oh, I'm going so dramatic now. HCK said, because if I remember well, he was on one of Stone Cold's podcasts earlier this year, am I right? Chris Jericho was indeed on one of Steve Austin's podcasts. It was cleared by AEW and the WWE, and the WWE would be very happy to have Chris Jericho involved. There is a push to have Chris Jericho inducted into the Hall of Fame, but I don't believe that will be happening this year. I think this year, Undertaker will be the number one, as it were. BFG says, any chance of Impact being involved in WrestleMania on top of having their own show during the weekend? At this point, no. At this point, no intention to have anyone from Impact appearing at WrestleMania. The WWE right now do not have enough people, at least to be in the Women's Royal Rumble. When it comes to WrestleMania, they do believe confidently that they have more than enough people to fill that card. Rob says, is there a reason why Ronda is more hesitant this time around than before? Was she not happy with her run? A bit of both, in that she's training and she does want to, spend time with her family and all that. But it does also come down to the fact that she wasn't a big fan of the fans. Stop me if you've heard this one before, but wrestling fans are kind of annoying. And also, does she want the match with Becky herself? I've always wanted to know. Yes, Rob, she does. She and Becky are both disappointed. They were never able to convince the company to give them the one-on-one that they wanted. That moment will eventually come. I just don't know if it will be coming this year. If there is any chance of it coming this year, then Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey will main event one of the nights. It may well push back to night 2 in the actual main event. Becky at the moment is supposedly the main event for night 1, with Roman the main event for night 2. Things may change. Sean says, according to the Vegas odds, Brock, Big E, AJ Styles and Omos are the top 4 with the best odds to win the men's Rumble. I definitely think Big E's got to be one of the favourites. Styles being there is very telling. It really is. Simon says, is Sasha going to make the Rumble? Any updates? She looks fine on her Instagram stories posted in her 30th birthday week. Sasha Banks and Bayley will both have fitness tests in the days leading up to the Royal Rumble. I will be trying to get as much information as possible. I don't know if I'll be able to report that, but if I do, it will be a case of reporting it right before, much like I did with Becky Lynch making her appearance at SummerSlam. Ultimately, it flew under the radar, apart from to you guys. You guys knew that Becky Lynch was going to be at SummerSlam. Nobody else did. And that, I kind of like that. Rob says, knowing Ronda, she can just show up on point as well on Monday. She can and she would. That's such a Ronda Rousey thing to do. Spider-Boss says, Ric Flair once said that Ronda's contract was for 2 years. It was indeed going to be 12 months that she covered. When I reported it, as I say, shouted down, called a liar, called a fraud. Proven right completely. JJ says, is WWE still trying to do Becky versus Ronda? Yes, they are. They believe that is the big money match in wrestling. And let's be honest, they're not wrong. They are absolutely not wrong. If you're currently watching on YouTube, please do remember to hit that thumbs up. That little like button can make a massive difference to our show and to our growth, and I personally would really appreciate that support. You can also subscribe, and if you have already subscribed, please consider hitting that notification bell so that you get a notification every time we go live. It would be a big help for me and the growth of the channel and all of the above. We are still trying to get to that 1,000 mark. We are gaining very quickly right now, and I'd like to see that continue. So please thumbs up, please hit like, and also my announcement tweet should have gone live, so I'll tell you what I'll do. If you can share, I would very much appreciate it. So far, my announcement tweet, that's not the right button. My announcement tweet has only had the 1 like. So once I can click it, come on, come on, come on. You can do it, you can do it, you can do it. There we are. So I'll grab the link for this. And if you guys can please share the announcement tweet. There it is on Twitch, and here it is on YouTube. I would be very grateful. As I say, we are trying to find some new viewers, and as we grow, so too will the show and my ability to make a living. Okay. Hector, welcome, says, happy Monday, Tom. Do you think WWE would ever bring in Ronda's husband Travis Brown? I'd assume after the Cain Velasquez debacle they don't want to go for UFC guys. I have actually reported in the past that the WWE was interested in bringing in Travis Brown, with the idea being that we could have, for example, Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins versus Ronda Rousey and Travis Brown. The same could be done with, for example, The Miz and Maurice. And of course, following on from that, Edge and Beth Phoenix. We suddenly have quite a few mixed tag teams in the WWE. Moxie said, let's go. You deserve it really, Tom. I speak for everyone here. You've made all of our lives better. Oh, thank you, mate. It's a really nice thing to say. I appreciate it. Spider Boss says, I see Ringside News and Meltzer using your work. Do you? Do you? Because I haven't spotted that. I haven't seen my name mentioned on either of their sites. I'd be very interested to see more. James Stewart says, I mentioned Royal Rumble a few weeks back to you, which you did, which was more in hope, but let's see if it's a name that trumps a bigger name. It could well be. It would be very interesting to see. After all, it's suddenly blowing up. Megan, the stat queen, is here bringing us the stats, saying Ronda's current odds are 25-1, which puts her just behind Shayna Baszler and Io Shirai. If we check that after Monday Night Raw, we'll see if that's still the case. I guarantee you a lot of people are about to place bets on Ronda Rousey. Moxie says, Tom, you can finally get the Nvidia graphics card and green screen. I can indeed. I can. And I'm looking forward to doing that. We may be getting more gaming streams coming in the future after all. We have spoken about this. As soon as I've got the graphics card, we may be doing a little bit more gaming. Jacob K, welcome to the show, says, hey, thanks for all that you do. What are the big return surprises this year? We have been speaking about Ronda Rousey. Bayley, I think, is still going to be the number one in my mind. Bayley and, of course, Sasha Banks both have fitness tests just before the Rumble to see if they can make it. As well as that, on the men's side, I'm still not going to discount Chris Jericho. I'm just not going to. Well, thank you, Jacob. Justin Stevens says 0% chance Ronda is in the Rumble and she doesn't win. And I think that's a very good shout. Spider Boss says, I would love to see Ronda appearing after Becky's match. I would very much rather see Ronda appearing in the Royal Rumble and then have Becky Lynch doing everything in her power to stop her from winning it. That would take Ronda Rousey into the Elimination Chamber, though. Lots of things could be happening here. Wolfgamer talking about the fact that he has COVID at the moment, saying I've had no symptoms of it, mainly just symptoms of a mild cold, have a small cough, nose is a bit stuffy but nothing more or anything serious. The new strains are seemingly less deadly, but I'm not an expert, just to be clear. Kervin says, can you see Brock Lesnar's wife Sable showing up on the Rumble? I cannot. I don't believe Sable has any interest in wrestling at this point in time. Someone 7 says, are you excited for WWE 2K22? I'm getting excited. Somebody who's in this chat right now may have mentioned a option that I'm very excited about. And there are some other people in this chat who may also really enjoy that aspect. Kervin says, who's the favourite to win the Men's Royal Rumble? It is Brock Lesnar at this point in time. BFG Podcast says, I would love to see Moose versus Roman. Well, mate, you might. The day may well be coming. Steve, welcome once again. I did read your comment out first. I've read one already, but I do want to take this chance to say, if anyone has not already done so, please follow SCW, the wrestling channel. Steve is someone very, very dear to me because I've never known anyone work so hard to put over other people and to help and support them. Steve is one of the good guys. I do highly recommend giving him a follow. He's also very close to monetization. So anything we can do to get him over that line is something I want to be doing. Says, if Becky versus Ronda happens at Mania, could Bianca versus Bayley happen? As neither would face Becky. Hope you're well, buddy. It could certainly if Bayley makes it. If Ronda's going to be there, maybe they push back and Bayley comes back at a different time. But I think it's also possible we get Bianca versus Alexa Bliss. I think Alexa Bliss will likely have a match. Moxley says, Tom, out of 100, do you think Ronda will come back at the Rumble? It's your opinion. My opinion is about 20%. Give or take. It is my opinion, to be clear, but that's what I think is the likelihood of Ronda Rousey returning. I know the WWE are pushing for it. I know she's been training. I know she's looking good, and I know there have been meetings at Titan Tower. I know that all of these things have been happening. I just don't know if she'll be there. Megan says, should have put the first one, as regards betting, is Paddy Power. On Sky Bet, Ronda is 16-1 to win and 10-1 to make the final four. The bets are coming in. The bets are coming in. Michael Latino, welcome to the show, mate. Says Ronda winning would ruin the Rumble and Mania. I'm not going to go as far as ruin, personally. I don't think it would ruin the entire show, but I do certainly think she could add a little extra to it. Interesting, because Moneymaker says much the same. Rob says, Roman drops it to Rollins, enters and wins the Rumble, faces Brock. I think if Roman does lose the championship, what would happen is that he would then go on to win in the Elimination Chamber at Saudi Arabia. That makes the most sense to me. Rob says, in your opinion from the outside looking in, can you see Alexa Bliss being Raw Women's Champion this year or a feud with Becky or Bianca? I can see her competing for the Raw Women's Championship this year. However, I cannot guarantee that she'll be winning any championships. She is certainly closer to championships now than she has been for many, many years. JJ says, an article said on Twitter, don't know how true it is, that Becky will be taking a break after the Rumble and WrestleMania. Is it true? I've heard nothing about that personally. Absolutely nothing about it. Moxie says, Tom, guess what? 5 days till the Rumble. How are you feeling? I am gassed. I am feeling great, and I'm very excited for the Rumble this year. I think there's a lot of very good potential things happening, and I like that I can't tell who the winner's going to be. Ronda Rousey's potential return surely throws another wrench in the works there. Guys, if you are watching on Twitch, please remember to hit that follow button. It means that not only do you get your name just up here, but also you'll get a notification every time we go live. If you're watching on YouTube, please remember that thumbs up, that little like button can make a massive difference, and it really does have a big impact on the channel. Also, the more you chat, even if it's like in small bursts and chatting to each other, it increases the chat rate, which also guarantees more viewers. So please do consider just chatting amongst yourselves every now and then. It really does make a big difference. Subscribe if you can as well, and please be aware that we are currently trying to reach that 1,000, but we're doing it in little tiny increments. When we started the show today, we were at 829. Now that's too close to say I just want one, but we are still looking for subscribers. We are at 830 right now. If it's your first time here, or if you're a regular but you've never hit subscribe, please consider doing so. It makes a real big difference to my potential in becoming someone who can do this full time. Omega says, will we be seeing Tom Roller Cute? I will not be doing a Raw watch along tonight. Just to be clear, I am not planning Raw watch alongs for the foreseeable future. After all, I'm about to go into a new job with, and I did the math, a $6,800 raise starting on Friday. And I am going to take it very, very seriously, basically. Moxie says, Tom, are you doing Nick and Tom's this week? Yes, I am. In fact, we're doing it slightly early. we are doing a live recording of Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure as a Royal Rumble preview this Friday. So on Friday, we will be recording Nick and Tom's live in our usual Friday slot on this channel. So keep your eyes open for that one. Ed Fry says, thoughts on 2K22? Anything you think for Colohue Gaming? Well, Ed, funny you should mention that. Somebody, let's just say a very close friend of mine, recently DM'd me to basically say, hey, did you know you can do competitive co-op My GM mode on 2K22? Now, doesn't that sound like a real fun stream? Doesn't that sound like great fun across 2 people's streams or more? In fact, if there is an NXT, I can certainly think of someone who may want to join me for example, once a show, 2 to 3 hours, playing 2K22, playing against me. And if you do get the chance of free brands, I can certainly think of even more. Or, of course, we could have myself host a war between 2 other players. There is lots of potential there. So I think I've been convinced to get 2K22. Kevin Welcome says, when you said days leading to the Royal Rumble, do you mean like Friday or Thursday? I mean anytime now until the Rumble, basically. Sean says, did we all see that Lio Rush tweeted he'll be a free agent in February 14th? I think he isn't re-signing because of what happened between Tony and Swole, which he spoke out about. Lio Rush will be speaking out about that further in the days to come. I guarantee it. Boz Pedal says, the only thing I've ever seen discounted about Chris Jericho are his Fozzy albums, cheapest coasters I've ever bought. I like his singing, to be honest. Spider Boss says, what is next in Sonya versus Naomi? The match on SmackDown? Other than that, you've got me. They'll engage in some way in the Royal Rumble, but I don't really see it going much further. Because, to be blunt, it hasn't gone anywhere to begin with. Nothing has happened. Sean Garner says, if Ronda versus Becky happens, who wins? Ooh, that is a good question. That is a really good question. Was I buying time to think about it? Yes. Yes, I was. Yes, I was indeed. I don't know. That's a really good question, Sean. I don't know. I'll have to think about that one. Justin says, just tell me it's a 0% chance Bliss is becoming Lily. I see a few Bliss fans saying she's becoming Lily. What the fuck does that even mean? I can't say it's a 0% chance. I can't. I certainly can't say it's a 100% chance, but I can't discount it. They are evolving the character so that there will be some elements of the goddess, but we are more likely to see a Dark Willow situation, if you'll follow me. Manny Santos says, I know Brian Alvarez isn't the greatest reporter, but he did confirm Ronda is coming back at the Rumble. Interesting. So we have some progress on this one. Some evolution of the story. Was I quoted at any point, do you know? You know, me being the guy who mentioned it on Friday, or was it all counted towards the guy who mentioned it on the paywall today? Bet it was. Kevin says, I remember Royal Rumble 2016, AJ Styles' debut was a big surprise. It was, and you know what? It's probably the last real big surprise in a Royal Rumble. I want more. Wolf Gamer says, oh, before I forget, I remember commenting on you saying that Nikki Ash turning heel would happen when it did, and someone immediately said that you were, what's the phrase, smark? But yeah, people seemed a bit salty that someone knew a heel turn was coming before it happened. Yeah, we get trolls. We get plenty of trolls here, we do. And that's very much the thing. We get loaded up with trolls and it becomes completely inescapable. But here's the thing, and this is more than anything. The amount of people who comment on my tweets saying that I'm a liar or that I'm saying fake news, that come in here and say I'm making stuff up and call me a smark, as it were. I don't respond to it. What I do is I sit there and say, here are the things that I got right. I prefer to be positive. And yeah, the Nikki Cross thing, I didn't get backstage info on that. I felt it was, pardon me, the obvious choice. Michael says, I would so much rather have Becky versus Bianca or Bayley at Mania. I would still like Becky versus Bayley personally. We could, after all, have Ronda Rousey versus Rhea Ripley. We could have literally that R. Sorry. But they could do an alternative. Then Bayley could win the championship, and we could have we'd have Money in the Bank, Becky versus Ronda. It would certainly sell out Money in the Bank, I tell you that. BFG says, say you are saying that Impact might not be involved in WrestleMania, but they could be involved in another upcoming premium live event instead. We are going to see Moose and Roman. What's the benefit to the WWE there? At the moment, they're creating a buzz around the Royal Rumble, but it's the Royal Rumble. It makes you feel like anything can happen. They don't really need that elsewhere. It's not impossible, but I don't see it. Moxie says, Tom, I think Shayna's going to be the one to beat Ronda for the title if Ronda returns, because Ronda will ask to put Shayna over. All of this is fair comments, and could well be what happens. Sean Garner says, do you think Liv Morgan will ever win a title in the WWE? Yes. Yes, I very much do. Very much do. Liv Morgan, I feel, impressed the WWE, and in fact I've heard, impressed the WWE to a very good degree, to the point that the WWE are very happy with what she achieved. I feel she would make a very good person to take a championship from Bayley if Bayley wins it from Becky. Welcome, Wiggly. How you doing, mate? Oh, Michael says congrats. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate that. There's a lot of people in the chat right now who've been here a long time. There's a lot of people in this chat who've been here for a short time. And you know what? All of you are fantastic, and all of you have made a big difference in keeping me cheerful, keeping me going, and just keeping me alive at times. You guys know how rough I've had it at times. Simon says, is Alexa Bliss returning as a goddess character? WWE trademarked it today. They did, but she herself has said that she doesn't plan on going backwards. James Stewart says, Tom Co, just amusing myself over here. Tom Co. Speaking of, by the way, I keep forgetting, I have a merch store, but I don't have any merch. I'm going to start thinking about designs and stuff. Is there any interest in any sort of Tom Colohue branded merchandise? Because to be honest, I don't really want to make stuff and then have it not sell. It wouldn't cost me anything, but it would certainly be an option if people are interested in that. So let me know. Ghost of Nay, welcome, says, here comes the money. Here comes the money. Money, money, money. No. Hope everyone's doing well. I've had a really shit week so far, testing positive for COVID being the cherry on top. There are 2 people with COVID in the chat. It really is getting around, isn't it? Hope you're well, Ghost. If you need anything, please do let us know. Even if it's just a distraction, I'm there for you. Wiggly says, as WWE 2K isn't coming out on the Switch, I'll need to buy the new Xbox. I'm a PS4 guy personally, and that makes it difficult with certain people who may want to play competitive GM mode. But maybe we could work something out. Maybe we could pair some people up. Megan says, competitive GM mode, you say? I'm guessing at the chin stroking, Megan, but I have confidence that you would be stroking your chin like a villain while saying that. Kuro is saying, I got an update about that Sikoa news story. This is from Friday. He was apparently backstage, according to Inside the Ropes, who gave their report to WrestleZone, who reported he was backstage for SmackDown when the report was he was backstage for 15 minutes and then left. Wow. I used to know someone who became the lead writer for Inside the Ropes just over a year ago. Didn't stay very long, mostly because everything he reported was wrong. Moxie says, Tom, will Nick and Tom's be at 6 o'clock here on Twitch and YouTube or just on YouTube? It will be on both Twitch and YouTube. Nick and Tom's will be at the usual time, that is 5 p.m. Eastern time, 10 p.m. UK time. It will not be at 6 p.m. UK. Kervin is saying WWE are unhappy with NXT 2.0. They're disappointed. They are disappointed with the overall level of interest in 2.0. It's not the show they were expecting, this being the fans. The fans were not expecting this. The WWE were reshuffling it, but they haven't really gone towards the fans, and they were expecting a lot more merch sales and so on. It's disappointing to them, but I do think they will recover in time. Moxie says, I can see Shayna being a champion by the end of next year. I'd like to see her at all, to be honest. I'd like to just see her wrestle. That would be a damn good start. Maybe we could do that. David Leary says, any chance of Gargano in the Rumble? Very little. Once again, not impossible, but very little. He is currently considering his options. I don't think we'll see him for a little while. James Stewart says, Rousey wins. It goes 1-1. I think that's exactly what it'll be. Ronda Rousey beating Becky, if that's what we end up with. So that would be very telling. Sean Garner says, who does Becky lose her title to? I still think Bayley, but who knows? Michael says, regarding the Sonya-Naomi feud, WWE can't tell long stories. They drag things on and then drop it. I think they can tell long stories. Look at, for example, Roman Reigns. They just haven't told a good one. They haven't told a good one here. Hector says, Tom, did you see PW Insider reporting that Bron Breakker and Gunter will be in St. Louis for the Rumble? I did see that report. I would not be surprised by that. It would make perfect sense. And this is an area in which PW Insider do excel. They do definitely have sources who sit outside of the Performance Center watching people go in. Sean says, would Ronda have won the main event of WrestleMania 35 if she didn't leave to have a child? It was not the intention. The original intention was for Ronda Rousey to be undefeated for a year and then lose one-on-one to Charlotte Flair in the main event of WrestleMania. Becky was added in after Survivor Series. JJ believes WWE can honestly do Ronda versus Becky without the title. I would do Ronda versus Becky in much the same way that we had John Cena versus AJ Styles. That's how I would want to see it personally. Spider-Boss says, if Ronda Rousey is returning, a possible trilogy of Ronda versus Becky? Very possible indeed. Rob says, are there any major plans to push Gable Steveson as a top star, or are they going to have him go on a winning streak, get his feet wet in the company before giving him any major programs? He will be pushed hard, but hard as in similar to Damian Priest. Rob says, we know Lita isn't getting a Mania match with Charlotte, however Lita just may be the plot device to Bayley. Charlotte due to Bayley backstory as a young fan. There is a story there. I don't see Lita continuing for long back of the WWE though. Kervin is excited for an idea of Ronda Rousey versus Shayna Baszler. Certainly would be a lot of fun. Both women really want to do it. Sean says, Moose said the show's Impact puts on are better than WWE and AEW. Moose is wrong. Rob says, Trish seems to be training a lot these days. I don't want to think too much about it. Staying fit is normal. But are there any plans to have her come back at some point? Yep, she's been approached for the Royal Rumble. Moxie says, Tom's birthday is in 6 months. It is. I don't know why you felt the need to say that. My birthday is in July, yes. We will be having a birthday party on streams. We will also be looking at the views that I got on the previous birthday party, which was, I think, 14. 97 views on the video that you're watching right now. 97 were 3 away from 100. 3 away from 100. We also have 27 people watching and only 13 likes. What's that about, guys? Hit that thumbs up. Give us some love. Sorry for the dark thumbs and fingers. I'm ripping up paper. That's my OCD handling method. That's how I handle these things. So sorry for that. But thumbs up if you can on YouTube. Subscribe if you can as well, because we are still aiming to try and get to that 1,000. I know we're still 170 away, but 2 weeks ago we were 200 away. We've done extremely well in the last few weeks. Let's keep that train rolling. We were at 829 when we started. We're now down to 828. We've actually gained 1 and then dropped 2. Wonderful. Okay. Don't be disheartened, Tom. Keep on trucking. Trucking and chugging is where I went with that. Lots going on. BFG says, what are AEW going to be up to WrestleMania weekend? Involved in the Ring of Honor Supercard event? Maybe. As usual, they will be in and around WrestleMania because everyone always is. Moxie says, Tom, do spoiler warning. This is, of course, for the merch. The spoiler warning design is good. It's just that the guy who designed it isn't around anymore, and I really wish he would turn back up. I really do wish he would come back because his designs are really good, and I would really like to use them more. But I suppose I could always go on Fiverr and see what else we've got. Do we have any graphic designers? Because if we do, I would love to know. Marcus says, Tom, do spoiler... Yeah, I've already read that. Boss Pedal says, sexy, signed Tom Colohue portraits. If I ever have a moment where I ever look even the slightest bit sexy, I will let you know, Boss Pedal. Michael said, Bad Vince has to be on a shirt. Bad Vince does have to be on a shirt. Once I monetize on YouTube, I will definitely be bringing back the bad Vince element. I can make it, like I have to turn off the channel points, but I can make it like a bit thing. Like 50 bits, you get a bad Vince, something like that. Well, telling off Vince. I can work something out. Thank you, Michael. Moxie says, do cherry coke. I think that's trademarked, mate. I think it's trademarked. Kuro says, I want to drink coffee out of a mug of Tom's head. That is terrifying. Terrifying. New, welcome, mate. We're going to have not only Asuka return, but Ronda Rousey returning as well. Potentially, yes. And that would be a bit of an insane Royal Rumble, wouldn't it? Before you know it, we might actually enjoy this one. Useless but United says, free with COVID, I got the Rona too. That sucks. Sorry to hear it, mate. Sorry to hear it. Hope everyone's okay. Useless but United also said, have you tried a game called Journey of Wrestling? It's a browser-based booking game. I have not. Booking games for me just play a little bit slow, that's all. Doesn't quite work on stream, and I don't have a lot of time, unfortunately. Okay, we've just shot up to 20 likes. Fantastic, guys. Thoroughly appreciate it. We're so close to 30 viewers because of that. You guys have made that happen, and I want to say thank you. Hello, noob. How are you? Sean says, Jeff Hardy is still on the roster for 2K22 on SmackDown Hotel. Is it possible he still gets removed from the game? Yes, it is. They want him gone, that being the WWE, but 2K not quite. Riff Thing, welcome to the show, mate. Moxie says, do Tom freaking Colohue? Don't think I can. Don't think many people would buy that. Megan says, I'm an Xbox and PC player, saving up to get a Switch, though. Hopefully we'll make it work somehow. If it's cross-platform, Megan, we can make some magic happen. Riffing says, do you know why WWE hasn't announced anything about the Hall of Fame yet? They are biding their time until the Royal Rumble. I do believe we will get our first Hall of Fame announcement at the Rumble. That's when I believe it will be. That is not a report, that is an opinion. Simon says, for the Mania 38 card, Reigns versus Lesnar, Sasha versus Charlotte, Bayley, Bianca, or Ronda versus Becky, AJ versus Edge, Big E versus Lashley, RK Bro versus Owens and Rollins. Suddenly, his card's starting to look a bit tasty, isn't it? Riffing believes that Batista should headline this year's Hall of Fame. I think he had an opportunity, but I don't think they're going to revisit that this quickly. We'll see how it goes. Ghost of Nay is summoning Shane O'Mac as we speak. He truly is stupendous. Good word, one we're going to be hearing a lot of. Justin says, I believe this Women's Rumble will be really good or really bad. No in between. The Royal Rumbles tend to be that. They do. There's no back or forward, it's just that's how it goes. Clever Megan, suggesting that for Jeff Hardy in 2K22, Megan believes they will add a patch or something to make him a legend. Potentially, Moxie, just throw some designs at me. If I like them, we'll make merch of them. That's all I've got at this point. I'm looking at options for paying for merch, mostly because I can't pay royalties. I don't have the facility to do so. And I would feel kind of cruel taking your designs and not giving you any money for it. So we'll work something out. Kervin says, if WWE never adds Charlotte to the Mania 35 main event, what was the original plan for her? Nope, Charlotte was the original plan for the main event of WrestleMania 35. The original plan for that year's WrestleMania main event was Charlotte versus Ronda. Becky was added to the main event. She was the one who was added. Woody Swain, welcome. Says, hey Tom, will Seth beat Roman at the Royal Rumble? I don't know. I really don't. It's an interesting one. Megan says, just had a look on Skybet. They've just suspended booking on Ronda being in the final four of the Women's Rumble. Does not surprise me at all. A lot of people stand to make a lot of money on the reporting that's just been done from everyone who is now talking about Ronda Rousey. Once again, I do ask, do you think anyone's mentioned good old Tom Colohue, who did report it first, right here on the Tom Colohue channels? I don't think they did. Riffing says, I think another reason WWE changed the name of Volta is due to pronunciation. Some people spell it Walter and some spell Volta. Well, it's pronounced Volta. That is how it's pronounced. Wiggler says, what do you make of Bully Ray's comments? What a jerk. What a dick. He's a knob and he should shut his mouth. Noom says, I would like to see a Ronda Rousey versus Asuka match, which is interesting. Hopefully we get a new selection with Ronda. I'd like to see Ronda Rousey versus Sonya Deville. Very much so. JJ says, do WWE have a possibility of Charlotte winning the Rumble? I don't think so. It seems unlikely. Justin says, Asuka, Lacey, Trish, Ronda, Bliss, Bayley, Sasha, and even Paige are names coming up. If half of them are in them, it's going to be great. It is. If Ronda Rousey is in it with all of these potential surprises, we are more than likely going to see her very late on. possibly even 30. Moxie says, Tom, I think Shayna in 2018 and 2019 would kill would kill Ronda. Yeah, when she first came up to the main roster, she was absolutely destruction born. Not the case anymore. Megan says, my birthday's a month today. I'll probably be streaming to my regular audience of 0. We can have a party, Megan. We can make that happen. We can make that happen. We can bring the people. We can make it pop in as it were. Never let me say that again. Never let me talk. Just never let me talk. Batman says, out of the 4 horsewomen, do you think WWE see Bianca as a top girl? No, she is not a horsewoman. Simon says, Sasha needs her Rumble win first. Mania moment title win in general. Ronda doesn't need anything. She doesn't. However, I do think Sasha will be winning the championship at WrestleMania. That may be a good moment for her. Gotcha, useless but united. I get what you're saying. Glad to hear you're okay. Kelvin says, I hope WWE saves Sami Zayn versus Nakamura for Mania 38. Well, they definitely can't do it on a pay-per-view in between. Nakamura likely to still be injured for the Rumble. And, of course, Sami Zayn cannot go to Saudi Arabia and will not anyway. Noob says, hello, Tom. How are you doing? Doing very good, Noob. How are you? KJ says, I'm not exactly a graphic designer, but I make match cards. I have seen them on your YouTube channel. They're good. Willie says, I can't wait for Asuka to return. Spider-Boss says, any chance of some NXT call-ups in the Rumble? Yes. There are some intended call-ups that are going to be in the Rumble. They won't necessarily be call-ups, obviously, but they will be featured. Much like Damian Priest and Rhea Ripley weren't obvious call-ups, but they did appear in the Rumble first. Wolfgang was saying 20 likes on YouTube at the moment. We're on 23, which is damn good. A really good amount. Thank you, everybody. That may help us get these subscribers back who ditched us during the show. Not sure what ran them off, but I'm guessing it was just my face. Bailey says, will there be a pre-show here before the Rumble? There will. We will be doing a full Royal Rumble watch party right here on the Tom Colohue channels. So be sure to check that out as we go through. That will, of course, be on Saturday. We will be streaming the whole damn thing. I may be a little drunk. I'm going out on a date with a very attractive woman beforehand. She's already my girlfriend, but we're still going out on a date and she's still very hot. Hector says, is it crazy that Shanky appeared on NXT to help Grayson Waller, but Veer is still coming? Veer is a meme, and a meme indeed. I'm hyped to see the meme make it, but also I kind of hope he never does so that we keep the meme going. Noob says, I would nerd out for a Ronda Rousey versus Asuka match. I think they should be doing it. Wiggly says, I hear The Undertaker is attending the Royal Rumble. I'm guessing that was from PW Insider. I do believe The Undertaker is is going to be at the Royal Rumble, at least in the arena. This is one of the reasons I believe he is likely to be announced as the first and headline entry into this year's Hall of Fame. Just so everyone is aware, by the way, we will, around the time of WrestleMania, be doing our previous system of all the watch-alongs all of the time. Which means for the Hall of Fame, we will be dressing up. I'll be putting on a nice suit. We will be rating everyone's attire. It'll be great. Check it out. Rob says, I've been Tom Colohue and you've been fantastic shirt. That could work. I like that. Spider Boss says, any chance of Rollins and Kevin Owens winning the Raw Tag Team Championships? Yes. Moderately high chance, I feel. Wolfgamer says, was too lazy to log into my Wolfgamer13 YouTube account, so I used my secondary account despite it being my first YouTube account. I have no issue with it. I like that. Sean says, this is from Fightful Select. Sheamus wants WWE to bring back classic Intercontinental and Winged Eagle Championships. Cool. I know he really wants that Intercontinental Championship. Kuro says, I gotta know what's with all the Eric Bischoff appearances lately. He's about to launch a new podcast, so he wants all the attention, basically. Michael says, I think WWE asking the likes of The Inspiration is a slap in the face. Fire them and then ask them back for one match because they don't have enough people. A number of people have been approached and a number of people have taken that opinion as well. I agree, personally. Ghost says, if any of the recently released talents appear at the Rumble, who do you think it might be? It is likely to be people who are already working elsewhere, such as Impact, but I would be keeping an eye on certain people who have not yet found a forever home, as it were. Kyle O'Reilly, for example. Wiggly believes that Ronda Rousey is going to win the Rumble. I'm sorry to say, because I want Asuka to win. We'll see. If she's there, she certainly has a damn good chance. Oh, Simon says Bullet Club were over as babyface at the Impact tapings. To be fair, when you go to Impact, you don't expect to see anyone actually famous. BFG says, is AEW allowed to use no more words like they acquired CM Punk's song, but for Jeff Hardy? Now, I do believe Ed has clarified this. Yeah. WWE Music Group do own no more words. That was part of Jeff Hardy sticking around. But yeah, now they got rid of him again. Noob says, you did say that Charlotte versus Ronda will be the original plan. Then the original plan was Asuka versus Becky at WrestleMania 35. And indeed it was. That was the intention, with Becky being the heel for Asuka to overcome. Moxie says, Tom, in 2018, who do you think would have won the triple threat? Roman, Brock, or Braun? Roman. 100% Roman. All times Roman. Jay Poet says, is Bayley going to return as a babyface? Yes, she will. Jesus Christ, you can take that one to the bank. I have absolute confidence. The WWE might not agree, but the love that she is going to receive when she walks back down that ramp will be incredible. Ed, you know you're getting birthday attention. Just so everyone knows, tomorrow is the birthday of our good friend and mod Ed Fries. Let's be sure to send him some love. Moxie says, my birthday's in 4 days. Ooh, many birthdays coming. KJ is saying 9 spots are open for the Women's Rumble, and add Xylee, who wasn't confirmed. There's still quite a few different possible names. I do think Trish is going to be there, for example. They have potential tests for Bayley and Sasha Banks, but they still need backup options. NXT at the moment are basically backup options in case they can get anyone else involved. JJ says, out of the 4 horsewomen, who is WWE's go-to girl? Sasha Banks. Definitely Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks is, of course, Vince McMahon's favourite person in the whole world. Spider Boss says, does Roman beat Seth Rollins in some controversial way? Maybe. Kuro says, Veer is coming. Did George R.R. Martin finish Game of Thrones? Not quite yet. Not quite. Steve says, I'd buy that t-shirt, Robs. Big thanks for the shout out earlier as always, Tom. Another question from me. Who would you like to see the other women's spots in the Rumble this year? I'd like to go further afield, to be honest. I think there's some really talented people in Stardom that you could bring over. That could be a lot of fun. Some people in NXT UK. I'd like to see Kaylee Ray involved. There's a few opportunities. Rob says, Veer at 30. That would work. Kuro says, watch a surprise be just Mark Calloway, not Undertaker, just Mark. Mean Mark Callis all over again. And Moxie says, quite accurately, Veer has just got over by with the fans by not coming. So you're saying he's completing nofap? That's the way to do it. Simon says, Jim Cornette hates on Adam Cole's booking. What the fuck? He's undefeated, #1 in the world title ranking. Cornette is delusional. Cornette very much is delusional. Thank you, Ed, for clearing up the troll who's been just coming out with a lot of crap. But can you just get rid of him entirely, please? I would appreciate that. I think we've got all the watch time we can get from him, but please, I just want him to go away now. Or her. I don't want to be sexist. Kervin says, can you see Bayley main eventing WrestleMania? Because she's the only horsewoman to never have a Mania main event. Not as of yet. It's very situational. We'll see how it goes. KJ says, I think Mysterio's win the tag titles at Mania. It kind of seems perfect. I'd like that. That could work out. After all, we are heading into 2K22 with a Mysterio on the cover. Sean celebrates AJ Styles, saying 6 years ago WWE became phenomenal, and what a career he's had. He has. You can't say that he's been badly used. Absolutely not. Boss Pedal says, could you have a business card that looks like a fake bank card with all your details on it? It'll be a never credited card. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh, I love it. Oh, Boss Pedal. Oh, I absolutely love it. I'll get back to you on that. Wiggly says, Bayley the Hugger again? No. Spider Boss says, what was the original plan of Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania 37 last year? The original plan was Sasha versus Bianca at WrestleMania 37 last year. I actually reported ahead of time, but I was quite au fait with it. I believe it was in October that Bianca Belair would be winning the Royal Rumble and taking on Sasha Banks at WrestleMania, because the decision was made in, I think, September that Bianca Belair would be winning the Royal Rumble and taking on Sasha Banks at WrestleMania and winning the championship. Hey Darnell, welcome to the show. Moxie says happy birthday to Ed. Michael wants Dakota Kai in the Rumble. You and me both, mate. It's never happened. Honest. JJ says I thought it would have been Charlotte. Simon says Anthony Ogogo, a contracted AEW wrestler on a Progress show on the WWE Network product show. Yes, Progress and WWE are absolutely fine. No issues whatsoever. I reached out to the guy in charge. Yeah, no issues. Darnell says, will the Rumble satisfy your interests? Hopefully. I think it's going to be a good show. The Rumble very rarely lets us down, so I'm excited for it. Rob says, Jeff will be fine. Tony Khan can buy him a new tune, maybe even his favourite band, Imagine Dragons. Did you all ever see Jeff Hardy on Ink Master? That was a life. Hector says, with Mania season coming up and another Saudi show, do you expect Goldberg on our TV screen soon or no? Yes, I do. I do think it is likely, given Big E's placement on the card right now, that we're going to see Big E versus Goldberg at WrestleMania. I wouldn't be angry with it. I wouldn't be angry. If you're currently watching on Twitch, please do consider hitting that follow button. It means you'll get a notification every time we go live with all of these news shows and our watch-alongs of SmackDown and pay-per-views. Or, premium live events. And if you're watching on YouTube, please consider that thumbs up. It makes a big difference. And subscribe if you haven't already. Steve says, John Moxley got a mention on SmackDown on Friday. Also in a Shield video package. Anything in this? Or are WWE just teasing us with Forbidden Door rumours? Bit of both. They are teasing us about the whole Forbidden Door concept. However, Seth wanted to say it. Seth said it. He didn't ask permission. He asked forgiveness afterwards. Kevin says, Tom versus Dave Meltzer for WrestleMania 40 all days. He's a bit buff, is Dave. I'm wily, but he's a bit buff, is Dave. Kura says, Cornette, like Vince Russo, still thinks it's 2001, 2002. Yeah, he does, doesn't he? Go says, who do you think is going to be the female inductee to the Hall of Fame this year? Crossing my fingers for China. I don't think it's likely. I hope. KJ says, I don't agree with the narrative of WWE doesn't have enough women for the Women's Rumble. That's why they're bringing in women from other companies. They have enough. They'll have to clear out NXT, but it'll be very underwhelming with most of the current women. They don't want to throw in women at the deep end that they don't believe are ready. So there are plenty of women who could be in it, but should they? Wiggly says, what was Jim Cornette ever relevant for in the first place? Hitting people with tennis rackets, I believe. Kevin says, WWE still plan to have Ray versus Dominic for Mania 38? I don't know. That's something that I've been pitching and fantasy booking, but I certainly don't know if it's guaranteed. It's been discussed. It's certainly been discussed. JJ says, is WWE going to have Bianca win the Rumble back-to-back if Bayley or Sasha are not back? Who knows now? I mean, Ronda Rousey might be back. It's really hard to tell. KJ says, Jeff Hardy will just make his own song like he did when he wasn't in WWE. I found that likely. Jeff Hardy is a decent artist. He can make things happen. Kevin said, if Ronda Rousey returns, can you see WWE bringing back the Women's Evolution pay-per-view? Maybe. Sean said, was Paige versus Asuka ever planned for WrestleMania 34? I heard Paige was supposed to beat Alexa for the title and defend it against Asuka at 34 and defeat her. I believe this was said by Dave Meltzer. I don't know, honestly, at that one. I didn't really get much in the way of contacts until after WrestleMania 35. So that was just kind of before my time. Wolfgamer said, if she wasn't retired, I'd love to see Kagetsu in the Women's Rumble. Maybe one day. Spider Boss is asking, are the Viking Raiders defeating the Usos? I believe they will. I just think they're going to take their time with it. And Lauren is here, unfortunately, just at the death of it, saying, are you watching Raw tonight? I am not going to be watching Raw live tonight. I will be watching it tomorrow. Says there's no indication Ronda is going to be in the Rumble. There's quite a few indications from different reporters. I mentioned this on Friday. Fightful have mentioned it today, and now the Wrestling Observer are talking about it. Tom Colough's name continues to go unmentioned. Michael says, I think they need to be careful before they put Bianca in the over-pushed category. I agree. And I think they need to be very, very careful when it comes to that. They winning 2 Royal Rumbles, for me, that's a bit too much. Lauren says, Ronda is live on Instagram right now. Interesting. And I imagine as soon as we're finished here, a lot of people are going to go that way. Says Melina's going to be there. This is according to PW Insider. Am I doing a prediction now? No, I'm not doing a prediction now. My predictions will be in a live taping of Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure that will be taking place on Friday. We have now been streaming for a full hour, which means that Tom Colohue is going to be wrapping it up. We will be back on Friday for a live recording of Nick and Tom's Intercontinental Adventure, and I will be recording a video for Wednesday. The Sasha Banks video, after all, is about to hit 1,000. So, if you have not yet done so, please do remember to hit that subscribe, remember to hit like, and remember to follow the channels. I've been Tom Colohue. You've been fantastic, and I'll see you all very, very soon.